Hi and welcome to this Now Maths video on sharing into a ratio. This topic's also sometimes known as dividing into a ratio. Now let's get straight into our first example. So in this question we have Amy and Harris sharing 15 sweets in the ratio 2 to 3. We need to work out how many sweets they each receive. So this is a way of Amy and Harris dividing the sweets between them unequally. And if we look, Amy is receiving 2 parts of the sweets and Harris is receiving 3 parts. So we're expecting Harris to receive more than Amy. To answer this question, I'm going to draw a diagram to help us. So in the question, it tells us that Amy gets 2 parts of the ratio. So we're going to write down Amy's name and then draw 2 empty boxes to represent the 2 parts of the ratio that belong to Amy. Then we're going to do the same for Harris. So Harris gets 3 parts of the ratio, so we'll write Harris's name and then draw 3 empty boxes to represent the 3 parts of the ratio that Harris gets. Now we need to work out how to share the 15 sweets between Amy and Harris. Altogether we have 15 sweets, and between Amy and Harris there are 5 parts of ratio. Each part of the ratio must contain the same number of sweets, so we're going to divide 15 into 5 equal parts. And 15 divided by 5 is 3. So each part of the ratio has 3 sweets in it. To show this, we're going to write the number 3 in each of the empty boxes that we drew before. Now all that's left to do is work out how many sweets Amy and Harris each receive. So if we look at Amy's part of the diagram, Amy receives 2 lots of 3 sweets, so she receives 6 sweets. And Harris receives 3 lots of 3 sweets, so he receives 9 sweets. And all that's left to do at the end is write down how many sweets they each receive to make it nice and clear. So we can say that Amy has got 6 sweets altogether, and Harris has got 9 sweets altogether. And this is our final answer. Now let's have a go at a second question. So in this question, we're asked to share 42 in the ratio 4 to 3. This question is actually asking us to do the exact same thing as the previous question, except this question has no context. So it doesn't have people and it doesn't have sweets. We're just asked to share a number into a ratio. We're going to start this question the same way that we did previously by drawing a diagram. So we'll look at the 4 parts of the ratio first, and to represent 4 parts, we draw 4 empty boxes. Then we look at the 3 parts second, so we draw 3 empty boxes to represent the 3 parts. Now we need to work out how do we split 42 into all of the parts in the ratio. So there are 7 parts altogether, and we need to split 42 into 7 parts equally. So we'll do 42 divided by 7, which is 6. This tells us that in each part of our ratio, we need to write the number 6. Now we need to work out the total of each of our columns. So for the 4 parts, we have 4 lots of 6, which is 24. And then for the 3 parts, we have 3 lots of 6, which is 18. And this time we can't write names next to the amounts, so we're going to write our answer as a ratio. So looking at the first part of the ratio first, we had 24 as the total of the 4 parts. And then looking at the second part, we had the 3 parts, which was worth 18. So we write our ratio answer as 24 to 18. And it's really important that the 24 comes first and the 18 comes second. And it's really important that the 24 comes first and the 18 comes second, because in the original ratio, the 4 came first, which was the larger number, and the 3 came second, which was the smaller number. Now let's have a look at one final example. So in this question, we're asked to divide 56 in the ratio 2 to 5 to 1. So this question is fairly similar to the previous two, except this time we're asked to divide a number into a ratio. This is the exact same thing as sharing into a ratio. And the ratio, you will notice, has 3 parts rather than 2. We're still going to approach this question in the same way that we have previously. So we'll look at the ratio first and we're going to draw a diagram to help us. So looking at the two parts of the ratio which comes first, we'll draw two empty boxes to represent this. The 5 parts comes next, so we'll draw 5 empty boxes to represent the 5 parts. And finally there is a 1 in our ratio, so we'll draw just 1 empty box to represent this. Now we need to work out how to divide 56 into all of these parts, and altogether there are 8 parts of ratio. So we're going to do 56 divided by 8, which gives us 7. This tells us that each part of the ratio is worth 7, so we're going to write the number 7 into each of the boxes that we just drew. Finally, we need to work out what each of our columns is worth. So for the first column, we have 2 lots of 7, which gives us 14. For the second column, we have 5 lots of 7, which gives us 35. And for the third part, we have just 1 lot of 7, or just 7. And similar to the previous question, we then write our answer as a ratio for this question. So for the 2 parts of ratio, we had 14. Then for the 5 parts of ratio, we had 35. And for the 1 part, we had just 7. So our final answer is 14 to 35 to 7. Thank you so much for watching this Now Maths video on sharing into a ratio. Please like this video if you found it helpful and subscribe for more help with your maths. See you next time.